going to do something a little bit different, because we're going to look at what we call tools for text. In our tools for text video segment of our library. Now, our library is way over 500 videos. And tools for text, I think there's about 85 in there or so, maybe 90 videos on all different things about technical analysis. If you become a level 2, 3, or 4 member, you have access to that library, and you can just do a ton of learning. There's so much in there. So we're going to talk right now about breakaway gaps, because this is an extremely reliable chart pattern. It's often related to earnings reports or corporate events, things that happen. And what happens is that the chart, and this is on a daily chart, it gaps out of visible trends, one way or the other, and it does it normally on unusual volume. I'm going to give you 7 examples of this and how it starts a new trend normally. We'll look at some that happened historically in the last 6 months or so, and then I'm going to bring you 3 that happened recently in what I think are some new trends. And these are the 3 I'm going to bring you are downtrends of stocks that I think are in a lot of trouble, and you're going to see why when we look at this. So let's take a look as we switch over to the charts. And this is Copa Holdings in the transportation category. So what we're looking at in here, for your knowledge, is the Copa daily chart, candlestick chart. We're looking at the slim ribbon right in here. Now, those of you that are Thinkorswim users, you can get the slim ribbon on our site at no cost. Just go to the resources and get that link, and you'll be able to put that up. If you don't have Thinkorswim, then you can create this by using an 8, 13, and 21 bar EMA. You just won't have the coding in it, and the coding essentially gives you colored bars, as you can see when it's positive momentum, and colored volume bars, as you see right over here. The slim ribbon PO is a signal indicator for the slim ribbon. And what it does is it shows you when it's green, you have positive momentum, and when you get the up arrows, it shows you that there is an internal correction that is over and likely to continue moving to the upside. When it's negative and you get these, it's likely to continue to the downside. You can see the value of that right in here. Now, this is what we're really looking at right over here. So it was in a downtrend. You could see that trend line right over there. News came out right over here. You got a breakaway gap to the upside on massive volume. You can see that's the biggest volume you have here in this 6-month period we're looking back at right here. And that began a new trend. Generally, breakaway gaps and high volume gaps generally start something or end something. In this case, it ended the downtrend and started an uptrend. Momentum clearly to the upside, as you can see. The slim ribbon widening as that momentum gains strength. That's very typical. And then right over here where it neutralized, it turned blue right at this point, and you can see the slim ribbon went flat and the stock really not doing much after that. But it established a fantastic trend where the stock moved up from the 60s to 86, as you can see right there. Just a solid signal when you look at that. So we're looking at breakaway gaps, and that clearly was a very powerful one. Let's look at RTX, which is Raytheon, and you can see almost the same type of a pattern in here. As it was in a downtrend or sideways trend, it broke pretty good right over here. Then it had this breakaway gap right over here on the upside. Big gap, very, very clear. Volume in here only got up to what has basically been the peak volume. So it wasn't really extraordinary, but it was higher. But it still had great value as the stock moved up from the low 60s to mid 70s right in there. And you can see again what happened as the momentum died right there, and so did the upside move in the stock. So that was really clear. I'm just showing you breakaway gaps and how we use some of our other tools on there. Please disregard that cycle bracket on the bottom because it's just kind of hanging out there and doesn't mean anything. So that is the breakaway gap in Raytheon. You can see how clear that is. It even works in the ETFs. take a look here as we look at the breakaway gap in XLF. Now, this has our cycle analysis on it, so for those of you that don't understand cycle analysis, you can go to our workshop page. And there's a video on there and explain to you what we do in here. But we look at the rhythms of the market. Here you could see it was just kind of finding this resistance at that short-term 76. Then big volume breakaway gap away from there right there. And you can see what happened. The stock moves from the 26s up to 31. Good solid gain as momentum turned positive. As you can see right in here in all of those signals. These arrows are showing you upward rising configurations in the cycle patterns. Very, very strong look in there. Here you can see it was negative right there. And then you get this base and it started moving up. So the breakaway came after a base. Pretty clear, very, very nice gap when you look at that. And really high quality when you look at that. That's the XLF. Let's just look at XLE right here, and you could see a very clear same thing. Here's your downward trend in here. Look at the negative momentum, and the slim ribbon PO screaming at you that it was still in trouble. All of a sudden, right here, it neutralizes, and you get the breakaway gap at the same point. Volume really comes into the XLE right there, and then it continues to move to the upside, moving from 32 up to 45. Huge gains, really, in that ETF, and very, very clear momentum and cyclical patterns, but we're really focused on the breakaway gap. Let's just take that closer look right in there, and you can see perfect action as it moves strongly to the upside. So really, these are incredibly high quality gaps that you see and give you great messages. We're going to look now at 3 of them that I think are very high odds breakdowns. These are breakaway gaps to the downside. Yes, they can break away either way, and again, it's coming out of a pattern and then moving to the downside. So we're going to switch here and we're going to move to CTSH, which is Cognizant Technology, and look what just happened. You can see clearly the uptrend in here. You could see the really, really clear upward momentum right in here. Here's where the slim ribbon turns neutral, and you can see that right over here after the strong gains. Slim ribbon is the best momentum indicator I know. Add the signal indicator to it on the slim ribbon PO, and it's just fantastic. Here you had the earnings report right over here in Cognizant, and look what it did. A breakaway gap to the downside on an earnings miss. Here's where the momentum turns negative, and here you could see the huge volume. There are sellers in here waiting. So when I look at this, and I also see what we have in here is a saucer top. Saucer tops are really nice. They're very reliable, and you could see what they look like in the saucer top right in here. I figured I'd draw it for you a little bit later, and look at the beautiful saucer top in there. And that is a breakaway gap, a beautiful top, breakdown of momentum, high volume, and the likelihood of continued downside in there is extremely high in there. IBM, one that broke down just a little while ago. You can see the cyclical patterns in here. Cyclical patterns happen to call for another week or two on the downside in this move. There you could very clearly see the breakaway gap. Here you had positive momentum and bullish signals through this whole rally right over here. Here is your signal that it neutralized on the downside gap. It's now rallying right in here or moving sideways, and really what's a bear flag. In some in negative momentum conditions, you could see the slim ribbon widening on the downside right over here, and very strong likelihood this is going to move down again, and probably in several waves, as this IBM certainly looks like a breakdown. And this week, Qualcomm, which of course has had G5 all over it, moving it on the upside. Look at the positive momentum that we had here all through this period. Turned neutral for a little correction, turned positive again, and now neutral again. But look at this. It's going to turn negative pretty soon. Here's your breakaway gap. Look at the upward channel that it breaks away from. Take a little closer look in here. That earnings miss now sends it to the downside. Going to get a little support where that weekly support is. But cyclical patterns are suggestive, if you care about that, that this is likely to move down all the way here through sometime in the middle of March. That's kind of where we think the stock market's going to correct to. This is a really high quality breakdown in here. Cyclical breakdown, momentum breakdown, high volume, earnings gap to the downside. Breakaway gap that says the stock is going lower. Now, when I look at things like this, like Qualcomm and IBM and CTSH that have signals right now, remember that anything can go wrong. We believe that the highest quality of things that we look at are only 65-70% accurate, but still that's a huge edge. And we think that the probabilities of these three stocks, CTSH, IBM, and Qualcomm, beginning a new downtrend is extremely high. When we look at that, we wanted to show you the quality of this, the quality of adding momentum into it, looking at the volume, and I think that you will now pay a lot more attention and maybe not fade the big high volume moves when they begin, especially when they're a breakaway gap like these. I hope you found that extremely interesting. For those of you that are new to what we bring here at Ask Slim, we just put out an amazing special for you. We have revamped, we're expanding our level 1 membership. The idea is that we want to bring in thousands of you. We want to bring in people that are not familiar with the amazing work that our team does and really be able to get a taste of it, spend almost no money. Our new level 1 membership, which is really the entry level, doesn't mean you have to be an entry level trader or investor, but the entry level to Ask Slim to really get a sense for what we're doing. And this is not entry level content that you get from us, believe me. You're going to get our Slimulator Momentum Tracker. It has over 1,000 symbols. You can scan and sort. What will you be scanning on? Our momentum indicators. We have them all built in with our algorithms in 3 different time frames. What it turns out is a sum of the evidence to give you a directional bias. This is for investors or position traders. It looks at a 3-month plus window. So a lot of what we do is for traders and short-term traders. You've seen that, but we built this amazing app that you access through the Ask Slim site. There's unbelievable sorting abilities, scanning abilities, and we have 20 different canned groups in there for you to be able to scan. You'll be able to see the percentage of gainers and losers, all of the directional information on all of them. It is amazing. It will blow you away. You're also going to get our stock index report, weekly report that's put out by Matt. Amazing technical analysis, charts on the major indexes, and all of our work that you see goes really into that. And again, it's a weekly, it's for a little longer term look at the markets. You're also going to get our Spider weekly review, a little longer term look at the major sectors of the markets. You're going to get this really is incredible, our new trader and investor workbench. You can organize, prioritize, you can save, you can track your analysis. We built worksheets in there for you to so easily put in to save the work that you do. You can put notes in there. You can upload charts. You can just absolutely have the easiest way to organize your work and save it and be able to call it back up. It's fantastic. You're going to get the Ask Slim show archive, the Market Week show archive. You'll be able to go in there and review our analysis and the things that we've shown in here week after week. We do live shows also for our members. They're about 70 minutes long where we do teaching and analysis and we answer questions. So you're going to be getting those live replays, and we're going to invite you into those live events at times, and you're going to get all of our member special videos that we put up also for our level 1 members, free members. We're going to make sure that you get those also. All of that, can you imagine? $14.95 a month, and if you take it for a quarter, it's $30. All of this, all of our amazing work, 3 analysts working for you. This is absolutely incredible. We want you to become part of the Ask Slim community. You will not believe what you're going to get when you do this. $14.95 a month. Spend $30 for the quarter. You'll get a good feel about what we're going to bring you in our workbench. It's just going to keep getting better and better. It's like a hub of the Ask Slim website and our analysis, and just absolutely fantastic. Go to AskSlim.com to join. If you have any questions on this, write them to Matt at AskSlim.com. $30 for a quarter for all of this. Go there right now and sign up. Thanks a lot.